Hello, I'm Eddie Obeng, and this is How. Daily, I bring you another tool, another method, another way to think about the world. This one is particularly serious. It's called Digital Destiny. You'll find around you there is a big technological revolution going on. Every single newspaper, every single magazine, every single channel, every single influencer talks about how AI is going to transform everything and probably destroy your job and change your life in a way you might not want it. That is really not necessary. And I'm going to explain to you the mistakes in the thinking which have led us here and how to rectify them. So join me on Cube. Let's have a look and see what we can find. And here we are on Cube, where the sun, as you know, is always shining, which is why we can tackle things like digital destiny. So let's have a look. Let's pull him. I've logged in with two different machines, which is why there was someone standing there. But I've now pulled him back. So he's standing on my shoulder, so he's not in the way. So a few months ago, there was this lovely image which was shared, which went viral. And if you look at the image itself and you try and understand what it's telling you, here we have from the 1950s, 1960s on roller skates, down here, a waitress bringing a lovely milk-based drink to these people, this couple who look really happy. They look happy with the waitress, look happy with themselves. They have a beautiful car. Let me put a note on so it's easier for me to point at things. They have a beautiful car, as you can see, with leather bits and a leather steering wheel, lovely plants, and so on and so forth. And there was an advert, an image, which was a robot bringing somebody a burger, nutritionally interesting, probably a fizzy pop drink, interesting, with this particularly sad-looking guy here with his dark glasses, which he probably doesn't need because it's overcast and it's not even as sunny as the other one. So what's going on here? Given the choice that you can automate, robotize, artificially enhance, digitally transform almost any area, why would you not start with things like dangerous things like mining or North Sea oil recovery or things where people are at risk or it's difficult or it's dangerous? Why would you start with pleasurable activities? And it's a mistake. There are two common mistakes people make with digital transformation and digital opportunities. The first one is they look at things they currently recognize and they immediately start to deal with them, often trying to make their innovation work by saving money. And the second one is that they put the technology before the outcome. So both of those are strategically damaging. Strategy is a problem because strategy means you start something and you're stuck with it for a long period of time. So let's have a look at this particular one. These two common mistakes, they happen all the time and you have to really work at them. So digital destiny is something for you and for your strategy and for you senior people to rethink how you're shaping the world, to check that's where you want to go. The first concept you have to understand is this one here. This is an image of a hand with a pen. Okay, question. How many different directions and things can a hand do? And the answer is loads of them. Loads of them. You can scratch your head, you can put your clothes on. Hands can do tons of things. This is a pen. How many things can a pen do, especially a fountain pen? It can scribble, it can scribble, it can scribble. So if you're looking at how much freedom or degrees of freedom those two objects have, the pen has far fewer degrees of freedom than the hand. So when you put a hand around a pen to write, guess what? The pen dictates what the hand has to do. Always the object with the fewer degrees of freedom dictates everything. Okay, so remember that. So one of the things you can do is get tools or methods or things which have more degrees of freedom and they allow you to be more human as a human being. That's one thing. The second thing to think about is that there are many things which you'd love to do which are impossible. Like, for example, it's easy to converse to people. It's quite difficult to collaborate and think together because people have got egos and so on. And it's almost impossible to have a decent global meeting every single day. For example, you might, for example, find things which you can do really easily. Flip breakouts, spreadsheets, slideshows, normally difficult to shift a culture, difficult to move with agility and speed, and impossible to get 100% stakeholder engagement, impossible to align big egos. So some things you would love to do, but they're impossible. Okay, and that's what this pet is trying to get you to do. When you get a digital opportunity, don't rush, don't race to the bottom. Don't let your CFO force you to think about reducing costs as the most important way of doing it. This is a new opportunity. You can grow. So options you have. First option you can do is you can increase the degrees of freedom or you can reduce the degrees of freedom. Those are your choices. You can decide either one. We're going to do stuff which is going to make everything much more engaging, more flexible, more useful, more happy. Your choice. You can do stuff which you already do differently, so efficiency, productivity, and so on, or you can actually step and do stuff which is totally impossible. If you were to ask me, I'd say that the fashion at the moment is to do things which make the people, the hand, be driven by the fountain pen. Make the people do things which the humans are driven by the machines. And that very much is a process of getting rid of their jobs, eliminate. This is the most popular strategic outcome. It's if you start it and you employ people, they will notice that and you will never get their commitment anymore. So organizations who think this is a smart move, we've seen some of it in the media recently. You get people to use AI to write the coding, then you fire all the engineers. Bad move. No one will ever work for you again. You're going to have to rely on that AI for intuition and everything else for till the end of time. Only idiots will come and work for you. The other one we see a lot of is this one here, which is again reducing the numbers of degrees of freedom, which is exploiting, very much a Western thing, very much a sort of a Silicon Valley idea. Let's use the technology and we'll use it to produce products which encourage people to spend more money, to do more things, to read their data so that we can sell them more stuff. That's very much a sort of a Silicon Valley approach. In the East, they use it more with things like robot dogs and stuff. So it's more about reducing degrees of freedom by using the technology to control the people. So these two are also options. And at the moment, this is, if we were doing fashion, this is where the fashion is. But they're all missing a trick, in my very humble opinion. The trick is to enhance people, to increase their degrees of freedom. So take the people you have, use the technology, the AI, the digital, to make them 7 times as effective, 100 times as effective. Okay, let them have more fun, let them work together, let them collaborate, let them be able to make sure these machines actually help them to reduce the amount of mistakes they make, enhance them. If you do that, you have loyalty into the future and you have flexibility as the world grows. And then the other one is to empower them, help them do things which are impossible. And the whole point of Cube, why I built it, was to do these two, to help people to be more productive, up to 6 times more productive, in fact, sometimes more times, to engage all the stakeholders, and to do impossible things like work globally, think together, change a culture in an instant. So that's where we are. So that is Digital Destiny. Think about what you're doing, plot your strategy on here, and if it's not in the top half, then my suggestion is ditch that and have a rethink. I've been Eddie Obeng. There's always a quick guide, and there's always a newsletter you can subscribe to, and we'll meet again.